At 9:01 a.m., millions of people open a laptop. Not to build something, not to own something, but to trade their time for permission to exist. By 9:05, the training has already begun. You don't feel it, you don't notice it, but every modern job quietly teaches you the same lesson. Your value is limited, your time is rented, and wealth is for someone else. This video isn't about lazy people, or bad choices, or hustle culture. It's about how modern jobs slowly, gently train your brain to think poorer every single year, even if your salary goes up. And once this mindset locks in, you can earn more, work harder, and still feel broke. Let's talk about how that happens, not in theory, in real life. Think about your first job, not the salary, the feeling. You were excited, nervous, grateful. You weren't thinking about freedom, you were thinking about stability, a steady paycheck, predictable hours, a sense of safety. And from day one, the deal was clear. You give time, they give money. Simple, clean, fair. At least it feels that way at first. But here's the part no one says out loud. The moment your income is fixed, your thinking becomes fixed too. Not instantly, gradually, quietly. Every month, the same number hits your account. Every month, your life rearranges itself around that number. Rent expands, lifestyle adjusts, commitments stack, and slowly, without a single bad decision, your entire financial imagination shrinks to the size of your paycheck. You stop asking, how do I build value, and start asking, how do I survive until the 30th? That shift is everything. Modern jobs don't just pay you, they condition you. Think about how performance is measured. Hours logged, availability, responsiveness, deadlines. Not ownership, not leverage, not long-term upside, just time. Your brain learns a simple equation. More hours equals more money. No hours equals zero. That equation sinks deep. So deep that even outside work, you start pricing everything in time. How many hours is this worth? How many days do I have to work for this? That's not financial thinking. That's survival math. And survival math keeps you small. Here's where it gets uncomfortable. The system doesn't need you poor. It needs you predictable. Predictable workers are calm. They don't take risks. They don't question structures. They don't demand upside. They wait for raises. They wait for bonuses. They wait for permission. And every year, that waiting rewires the brain. You begin to associate safety with fixed income and risk with danger, even when the real danger is staying exactly where you are. Look at how raises actually work. You work harder, take on more responsibility, handle more stress. And if everything goes well, you might get a 5% increase. Sounds reasonable until you realize inflation quietly ate 6%, meaning you worked more to stand still. And your brain absorbs that lesson too. Effort doesn't create freedom, it just maintains position. So you stop dreaming in big numbers, you stop imagining scale, you stop thinking in systems, you think in budgets, EMIs, monthly obligations. This is the fixed income mindset, not poverty, predictability. And predictability feels safe until you realize it caps your entire future. Now let's talk about identity, because this is where the damage becomes personal. Ask someone what they do. They don't say, I create value, or I solve problems. They say, I'm a software engineer, I'm an analyst, I work in operations. Job titles replace identities. And once your identity is tied to a role, your income feels like a reflection of who you are. A raise feels like validation. A stagnation feels like failure. So you cling to the role, even when it slowly drains you, even when the market changes, even when the automation creeps in, even when the company doesn't need you as much anymore. Because walking away doesn't just risk money, it risks identity. And that fear is powerful. Modern jobs teach you to outsource risk to the company. Health insurance, stability, routine. In exchange, you internalize obedience. You don't think, what could I build? You think, what if I lose this? And once "what if I lose this" becomes your main thought, you stop seeing opportunities. You see threats. This is why intelligent people stay stuck, not because they lack skills, but because their mindset has been trained for containment. Let's look at time, the one resource you never get back. A job teaches you that time is something you sell, by the hour, by the day, by the week. So, unconsciously, you stop seeing time as something you invest. You trade it, you spend it, you lose it, but you rarely plant it. And planting time into skills, systems, ownership is how wealth actually grows. Here's the irony. The better you get at your job, the more valuable your time becomes inside that job, which makes it harder to leave. Golden handcuffs. Not because the pay is amazing, but because the identity is comfortable. You know the rules, you know the people, you know how to win small. So you stay. And every year your tolerance for uncertainty drops, your imagination narrows, your risk appetite shrinks. Not because you're weak, but because you've been trained. Now zoom out. Look at the bigger system. Companies optimize for efficiency. Governments optimize for employment numbers, banks optimize for predictable borrowers. Everyone benefits when income is stable and thinking is narrow, except you. Because wealth doesn't come from stability, it comes from asymmetry. Upside without proportional effort, ownership without hourly limits, systems that work while you sleep. But none of that fits into a fixed income worldview, so it sounds unrealistic, dangerous, irresponsible. Your job-trained brain rejects it, and that's the trap. You don't need to be told don't quit your job. You already won't. The training worked. This isn't about becoming an entrepreneur or chasing hustle fantasies. It's about recognizing the mental cage, a cage made of calendars, appraisal cycles, monthly salaries. Comfortable, soft, invisible, but still a cage. Here's the quietest part of all. Over time, you stop believing wealth is learnable. You start believing it's inherited, or lucky, or reserved for different people. People who took risks, people who had connections, people who were built for it. That belief protects the system, because if wealth feels unreachable, you stop reaching, and instead, you optimize for survival. Better chairs, better offices, better titles, smaller dreams. Now think about this. If your income stopped tomorrow, how long would your life remain unchanged? That answer tells you everything. Because true financial strength isn't about how much you earn, it's about how much agency you have when earning stops. Modern jobs don't prepare you for that. They distract you from it. Busy schedules, constant tasks, endless meetings. So you never sit with the question, what am I actually building? Not this year, not this role, in the long run. Are you building leverage or just proving reliability? Are you growing assets or just upgrading obligations? Are you free or simply comfortable? No one forces you into this mindset. That's the genius of it. You walk into it willingly, smiling, grateful, relieved, and by the time you notice the walls, they feel like home. So here's the uncomfortable thought to sit with. If modern jobs are training you to think smaller every year, what would happen if you deliberately trained yourself to think differently? Not recklessly, not dramatically, just independently. What would you question? What would you unlearn? What assumptions would suddenly feel suspicious? You don't need an answer right now. Just don't ignore the question. Because the most dangerous part of the modern job isn't low pay. It's the way it quietly convinces you that this is all there is.